I also I got one one side out. Jeez. So once again, you have to desolder this just to get it in here. So if you were watching the first video, that kind of took me a minute to do. You know, you got to be super careful with these boards. You don't want to, get too hot because you could burn them. You could break the contacts in here. But anyway, so now I got to do these two contacts here to get this part out. So here we go. Let's see how this works. And the hardest part about this, like I said, is getting the solder out with this desoldering wick. So one side out, we're working on the other side now. We got two contacts. So I killed my other feed because it was just getting way too long, because it was taking a lot longer than it should have been. So I'm starting it from here, at least with one side out already. But anyway, once again, we're trying to I'm just trying to show you guys what you're going to have to go through just to get your Mixfader to open up, so you can clean it out when it starts to get dirty. Like I said, this design, I just don't think that the people that designed this were thinking that, oh, DJs are going to want to open this up to maintenance it and things of that nature. But that's a huge that's a super huge thing or step that they missed. And I know I'm not speaking so well, but I'm kind of trying to think about doing this and talking to you all at the same time. But yeah, I think that's a key point. There you go, that they missed out on. DJs, especially if they want this to last, they're gonna need to clean these faders out. Oh, look at that. So there you go. It's desoldered and pulled away from the circuit board. This board, this is the Bluetooth and all that stuff. So anyway, now what we have to do, now that after we desoldered it from this board, now we have to take all of these, these little pins here, we have to bend them all up. So this is where this is kind of similar to a Innofader, but like I said, this is almost like the old voltage control Alps faders, but we need to bend these little fingers up to pull this circuit board out. So hold on a second, let me grab something that I can bend these out with. Most likely you'll need a needle nose plier or something like that. Go. So let me move this up. Okay, so all of these little fingers, these need to be bent up so you can pull this circuit board out. So let's see if these needle nose pliers are going to be good enough to get under here. If not, what we're going to end up having, nope. So what we're going to need to do is get a flathead screwdriver here, kind of get underneath it, and then just bend them just enough. It's not going to take much to bend these up. Okay, because then you can just get the rest of it with needle nose pliers. So anyway, you can see how I'm getting underneath these, and I'm just kind of bending them up just a little bit. Okay, now I should have enough to get, you know, under these with some pliers. There we go. And like I said, there's 3 of these little fingers. There's 3 on each side, so 6 altogether. Okay, so now all of those are bent up, as you can see, and now this little circuit board is going to want to come up. So we need to mark this so that we know which side goes where. Alright, so marker, and we know I'm going to put a 1 on one side and then a 2 on the other side, and the reason why I'm doing that is because of the contacts here. 1 here, 2 here. So 1, 2. So now I know which side the circuit board goes on. So now all we should have to do is just lift this straight up, and there you go. So once again, on the inside, it's going to be pretty much just like any other bar fader. So there you go. This is and it looks similar to the Jesse Dean fader, you know, with your contacts, your springs in here, and that's what's actually going to touch on the board itself. Like I said, I thought, you know, when I first originally started looking into these, that the faders were non-contact. I really did. I thought they were non-contact faders, but lo and behold, they are not non-contact faders. They are contact faders. So we're going to have to lube up these bars and whatnot, and they probably already have some type of lube on them, but no, I guess not. No lube at all. So if you look inside here, there's actually 2 rubber washers on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and most likely you could probably push this out too if you needed to. Yeah, so you can actually push these out as well if you really wanted to deep clean these. You could do that, and once again, you'll have your 3 little bumps here. See, there's 1, 2, 3, and remember, those actually go to the bottom, and these things will just probably pop right out of there. So yeah, see. So that's basically how it comes apart. If you really want to get in there and see, so yeah, this, I mean, this thing is built just like a fader, like I said, except for it is a contact, our mini fader, but they are contact as far as touching the circuit board. So anyway, let's pull these bars out. And I'm going to actually take these to the sink, and I'm going to clean them off with some soap and water. Key thing to remember when you're putting these back in, the rubber washers are going to go to the side that's closest to you, so we can mark that too on here with the marker, just so we know. You could just put like a W on here or something, just to let us know that that's where the washers should be, closest to us. So I'm gonna put a W right there. So we got a W on this side, which there you go, you can see that. So anyway, I'm gonna clean these off, take it to the sink, use some soap and water, and I'm gonna clean these. Mark this too. So I'm actually gonna mark this as well with a W, so I know that that's the side that has the washer. Just a little tiny W there. So now I know what side goes to what. Okay. So I'm gonna pull off these washers. Pull this off. And this can go here. These washers, literally, I don't think they even have anything on them. But I'm gonna go clean these real quick, I guess. So give me a sec. Unless you want to follow me. You want to follow me? Hey, come with me. Let's go. This is live. What the heck? All right. So at the sink, what we're going to do is use some soap here. Dish soap works the best because that cuts through grease and whatnot. But we're just going to clean these bars off. And I honestly don't think there was anything on here. But anyway, you all know this is how I clean all my stuff. All my faders, everything. So you can dry these bars off. So now these bars are nice and clean. Okay. Nice and clean. So that didn't take very long, did it? Alright. Yo, what's up, Jason, man? How you doing? You might like this stuff because you know, you like to geek out on stuff as well. But anyway, I'm taking apart the Mixfader. I'm showing everybody what needs to be done to get into it. It's not very user friendly, let's just put it that way. But anyway, now the bars are clean. So let's go grab what we need to grab. We gotta lube these bars up. So once again, this is what I use. Outer's gun oil, lube oil. Been using it for years. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. So let's pull this out. So we're going to put these bars back. There's 1 and 2. Got our rubber washers, and we're going to remember that the rubber washers are going to be closest to us, but we also marked it out here. This is going to go back on. Remember, we marked this side with a W as well, so we know that this side matches up with the washers. See, like I said, I've been doing this a long time, so you know, I have all these little tricks so I don't get mixed up and lost. And then of course that goes back together there like that. Okay. And there we go. Now we need to put this back in here. So remember, we got to match it all up here, and it's all gonna go this way. So boy, it's like here. Ooh. Washers, washers, washers. Boom. So this one's a little flimsy compared to the other faders that I've worked on in the past. But once again, once you get that all back together, you got these three little, the camera, those dots there have to go facing up towards you. 1, 2. Okay. And then 1, 2. Just like that. And then we marked this side with the W, so we know that's the washer side. That's just going to slide right back in, and it'll probably be a little tight fit, but it'll go. So we're back in. See? Okay. Now I got to move these washers. Man, these washers are in there tight. But, I mean, now you can even see, like, it's a lot smoother than it was. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the gun oil. Once again, it is Outer's gun oil. It's the lube oil. I've been using this stuff on my faders since the early 2000s. So you don't need a whole lot, you know, just about a drop on each bar. So we're going to put one here, drop, and then another drop there. Don't need a lot. And then that'll be, you know, good to go. So that's going to make it a lot smoother now. Okay. Way smoother. Alright. Now, this is where we're going to put just a tiny bit of lube on the circuit board. Hopefully, since it's got power going through, it should work, but man, I can already see where these bars are starting to tear into the metal. Man, you know, this is gonna be a pain in the ass, dude. Like, I can't believe, like, this is the design for this. Okay, so we have a little bit on the board. That's gonna help. Okay, now remember I marked the sides here, so we have a 2 on one side and then a 1 on one side. So we're going to match it up. Remember, the two on this side and then the 1 on this side. So now we're going to push these down. Oh. Here, like so. God. And so that's that. So now it's lubed on the inside, and it feels a little better, but you know, it's never going to be as smooth as a non-contact fader. But I mean, it'll still do what it's got to do. And so now what we have to do is bend those little fingers back, and I figured out a way to do that as well. So clean this off. Okay, so what we're going to do to bend those back is we're just going to take this flat end here, and then we're just going to run it right over the top and just lightly, gently bend it down, see? And then it's bent back down again. And don't worry, I'll post this so you guys can go back and watch it if you're barely catching up now or barely tuning in now. But this is everything that you have to go through just to clean and lube up your Mixfader, which is, like I said, a real pain in the butt. I can't believe that this is how this works, but this is how they designed it. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that feels 1,000 times better than it did when it came. You know, like I said, it did feel okay, you know, when out of the box, but it was just a little too tight for me. And once again, like I said, being that this is a contact fader and not a non-contact fader, this stuff's going to need to be cleaned. It's just gonna, you know, over time it's going to need it. So okay, so that's that. So that's the fader itself. Okay, that's the Mixfader fader. That has to be, once again, desoldered and taken out of this board. This is basically the spot or the board where you're gonna have your, you know, Bluetooth and all that stuff. This is where all the electronics and everything goes. That's the fader itself. So basically now what we have to do is we have to put this back in, and then we'll have to resolder it to the board. So we can take this out of here now because we don't need it in there. Okay, so sorry again, let me move this up. We're gonna take these two, line them up so that it goes into those holes just like that. Then we're gonna take this one and we'll line it up again. Okay, so it's back in, back together. Take this battery, put it back where it needs to be. And now all we gotta do is put some solder back on this board. And then we'll have this all back together. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kind of hold the board, down, man down. Anyway, I'm gonna hold the board, and I'm just gonna put some solder here on the tip here. Of course, like I said, you always want to clean the tip off of your soldering iron because you don't want no dirty solder. That can always make issues in audio signal and stuff like that. So anyway, gonna put a little bit of this solder back on. Okay, and here, and that's that. So that's one. Now we're gonna do two. And usually I would do this a different way, but I kind of want all of this to be in nice and good, nice and tight where it needs to be. Okay. And here's my last one. And that solder, once you heat it up, it'll just grab, it'll go back exactly where it needs to go. All right. Oh. Sorry about that. Soldering iron decided to let go. This will go back on. And there you go. So Mixfader is back together, soldered back into the board, and yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to put it all back together now, and then we'll see how it responds. But that's basically it in a nutshell, guys. That's how you have to take this thing apart, the Mixfader, and you know, if you're looking to lube it up and clean out the insides, because like I said, it is a contact fader. So hopefully you guys found this information useful, and sorry that it took so long, but you know, I just wanted you guys to see step by step what's going on with this and what you have to do. So anyway, I'm gonna end it right there. Peace.